Hey there, everybody. Hey, welcome to this latest episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. As always, I'm your host, Van Ebert, and we are going to be talking about Disclosure Day tonight on this live episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning here. I don't know why I said it like that because actually every episode is live. And speaking of live here, we have the live chat available in Rumble and YouTube here. So once we get really into the meat of the show, then you'll be able to use the live chat on Rumble or YouTube to get in here and talk about some Disclosure Day or any movie you want to talk about, any Spielberg movie you want to. Quite frankly, you can live chat whatever you want, okay? And it'd just be nice to hear from people in the live chat. That'd be fantastic. I always like getting engagement and hearing from you, and because you guys got things to say, and I want to talk about them. I want to hear them. Disclose, if you would, in the spirit of tonight's movie. Disclose whatever you want in the live chat, okay? But first, before we get into all that here, let's take care of business right after this.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
All right, welcome back here to Movies Merica. Spoiler warning, and I want to really welcome my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics out there. You guys know who you are, okay? You're the kind of guys like me, or gals, that you get out of a movie, and when everyone else wants to just move on and talk about something else, you want to just keep talking about that movie, depending on if the movie's good or it's profound or something like that. So, because you don't always want to talk about the movie afterwards, even us movie maniacs, even us fellow freedom fueled film fanatics out there. I mean, I'm sure none of us came out of Ant-Man Quantum Mania wanting to just keep talking and yapping about Quantum Mania, But a movie like Disclosure Day, it is a movie that I did want to keep talking about, and I'm not the only one, as you can tell from the plethora of news articles and YouTube videos all about it. Either praising the movie, whining about it, bitching about it, just criticizing it, or just pouring on the schmaltz of it, or whatever. I mean, there's this movie has elicited a myriad of different types of reactions, and we've got people just wanting to wanting the movie to be better than it was because it's Spielberg, right? You don't want to. I don't like to think about Spielberg and his movie directing talent circling the drain. I don't want to think about that. Okay, the guy is a legend. I grew up on Steven Spielberg movies from Jaws and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Hell, even 1941. Okay, but and then after he had that flop right there, then his buddy George Lucas helped him rebound with Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then Spielberg really bounced back with E.T. the Extraterrestrial in 1982, and so that was another one of his alien movies right there. A far, far better movie than Disclosure Day. It still holds up today when you watch ET. Sure, I mean, yes, it does. You could tell it's in the 80s, from the clothes and the houses and what they're, just the activities that they're taking part in, and but just the spirit and the awesomeness of the movie still just blazes through, just cuts through all space and time, so to speak here. Disclosure Day does not. Okay. I don't think anybody is going to be saying in 2046, oh, Disclosure Day. What a legendary movie. Not at all. But that all being said, though, I mean, Steven Spielberg has to work real hard to make a bad movie. And despite what I just said about Disclosure Day, he didn't work hard enough here. So Disclosure Day is still a good movie to me. The problem with the way I'm looking at Disclosure Day and the way most people are looking at Disclosure Day is Steven Spielberg has just made too many far superior movies than Disclosure Day. I mean, legendary movies, um, you know, keystones in our time in cinematic history, like touchstones in just what it is to be American. And he invented the summer blockbuster, for God's sakes. I mean, in 1975, Jaws was the very first summer blockbuster. Now how. And maybe not so much now, now that we've got all these different types of entertainment options, I mean, but more back in the 80s and in the 90s when you had, four broadcast TV stations. I mean, you had cable. And so maybe I should even go back to like early 80s there. That was like the heyday of the summer blockbusters, I think, because cable was around in the early 80s and, getting into the mid 80s. But I mean, if I remember correctly, the way I remember it is, the more well off had cable. Your middle class didn't really have cable until like the late mid 80s and then obviously into the late 80s so all that to say is the things that would distract you, the things that would take your attention, all the bread and circuses, there weren't many options back then as there are now. And so a summer movie blockbuster meant more then. You had more of a monoculture there. I mean, that's when everybody, talked about the same music and movies and TV. It was like, hey, did you watch that episode of Different Strokes last night? Oh, yeah, I did. Hey, did you all listen to that new Michael Jackson album, Thriller? Ooh, man, that Beat It song, really cool. I love it. Yeah, I know, exactly. So, yeah. And hey, that movie that just came out there, Purple Rain. Oh, man, I love that Purple Rain movie. And it's even got a great soundtrack. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Everyone's talking about the same thing back then. That's going to be my monoculture. Nowadays, like, since there's 7,133 different series on Netflix and 8,675 TV series on Hulu and 2,573 series on, Amazon Prime and, just a myriad of different movies coming out and independent studios and, just there's like a wider variance of musical genres out there that people pay attention to now that we have Apple Music and pretty much what started with Napster, right? I mean, all just the whole point of this is that we've got so many different entertainment options to distract us. Now it's kind of like the stars in the sky as far as how ridiculous it is how many entertainment options we have. So it's harder to have a monoculture nowadays, or everyone's talking about the same thing. But Spielberg, he invented the summer blockbuster, and in the early 80s up to the mid 80s, and earlier in the 70s too. It was a summer blockbuster was a fantastic phenomenon. You heard stories about people lining up around the block, at movie theaters. When's the last time you went to a movie theater now here in 2026 and saw a line around the block, right? Never, not at all. I mean, and that's kind of sad. That's kind of sad. Now I say that's kind of sad because I'm not like Gen Alpha or Gen Y or anything like that. They don't remember those times because you know what, they weren't even fetuses back then. So, but me, I was a little kid, a little whippersnapper back then. So it means a lot to me, but yeah, if you're like Gen Alpha, you don't care. Like whoopity doo, yeah, okay, yeah, summer blockbuster fan, all right, whatever, okay. But as far as Disclosure Day, what helps me form that opinion that I think the movie's good, not great, is that I didn't go in with any expectations whatsoever. No plot expectations, no subject matter expectations, and by plot expectations, I mean, for example, many wanted Disclosure Day to be more about what happens after Disclosure Day. Okay, not not a chase movie leading up to it. Okay, they didn't want it to be The Fugitive, leading up to it, or Catch Me If You Can, to name another Spielberg movie, and then at the end, oh, it's Disclosure Day. No, they wanted Disclosure Day at least in the middle of it, and then they wanted to see the ramifications there. By subject matter expectations, where I'm going with that is many UFO slash UAP enthusiasts. UAP is an unidentified aerial phenomenon. Uh, Many of those enthusiasts wanted to be surprised by some UFO slash UAP info just revealed in the movie that even after all their research, after all their studying and scrounging and information and all that, they wanted this movie to reveal some UFO slash UAP info that they didn't even know about, like something that would just blow their minds, right? But since the movie is made more to appeal even to people who don't know a UFO from an HBO, it doesn't give the UFO slash UAP diehards what they were craving. Okay, I think they were looking for some profound set of facts, profound moments in this. Like, wow, we didn't know about that. Wow, only somebody as famous as Steven Spielberg, could get access to that information from the government. We didn't know that. Wow, just something that would blow their minds. Okay, and they didn't get that. Now, even though I like it, it does have plenty of plot holes. Disclosure Day does have plenty of plot holes. For one, Daniel. So Dr. Daniel Kellner, the Josh O'Connor character, he's a cybersecurity expert, and now he's the whistleblower. He's basically this movie's Edward Snowden. So Daniel even says in a scene after the scene, where he's at the wrestling match with the backpack full of old alien secrets in there, and he steals the government vehicle there because remember that whole scene on the loading dock, and he's forced out there. They take the backpack, and he's forced out there because he knows that they have Jane, his girlfriend. And so they have that whole scene on the loading dock, and then he and Jane escape, and they escape in this government vehicle. And Daniel says, as they're trying to get away, he says, like, I know the government vehicle, I know this vehicle I'm driving has a tracker in it. And so even though he knows it's got a tracker in it, and they can use that tracker, and he says he has to get rid of this vehicle. In spite of knowing that, he just keeps driving it all the way to the monastery where he and Jane seek safety for the night without even worrying about Wardex using that tracker to find them. And Wardex, again, is the agency that he used to work for and has taken the alien secrets from, and Wardex run by Colin Firth's character there. And so I'm like, what? Okay, that it's got a tracker on it, but that's just, David Koepp, David Koepp, the screenwriter, just kind of a lazy moment for him because he even writes in the screenplay that, hey, Daniel comments, hey, this vehicle has a tracker. He needs to dump the vehicle, but he doesn't dump the vehicle, drives it all the way to the monastery. And somehow Wardex doesn't track the vehicle, or they do, but they decide not to go and get them until the next morning, because the next morning when Jane and Daniel are leaving the monastery, they see Wardex vehicles heading towards the monastery there. So another plot hole is, how did they know to recreate Emily Blunt's character, Margaret Fairchild? How did they know to recreate her childhood home if they didn't know that Margaret was who they were looking for? Okay. You even have a scene here, if I remember correctly, where Hugo, played by the great Colman Domingo, finds out, after he finds out, he sees Margaret, doing talking, alien speak, so to speak, they're live on TV as she's trying to do her weather report. He sees that, and that's how he's that's how he's informed that Margaret Fairchild is the one he's seeking, right? You know, she is the droid that they are looking for, right? She is the one, but you see him building a house inside. You see him constructing something, and that's before Hugo even knows that Margaret is, is his Neo, is the one, right? So how would he know whose childhood home to construct? Okay, because if he doesn't know whose childhood home to construct, how's he going to know what it looks like in order to construct it, right? Just another plot hole there. So, and let me know in the live chat there. Maybe like maybe I missed something. Maybe Hugo was turned on to who Margaret was, and I just missed it in the movie. I don't know. This movie's like 2 hours and 12 minutes long, so that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it there. Hey, Mr. Scott, awesome, right there. Hey, he's in the live chat on the Rumble side there, saying sounds like some spy code stuff. Oh yeah, probably is. And he says, I am the one you're seeking. Yes, if I was Morpheus, I would be like, he is the one. Wow. All right, Trinity, take good care of him. There you go. So, and the chair is against the wall. John has a long beard. Yeah, exactly. It's what is the was the other one? The was that one in Mission Impossible? Like the light rain falls along the mist or something like that. So because those MI agents in Mission Impossible always have their little secret codes, little secret phrases. But yeah, definitely some spy stuff going on. Not like in Steven Spielberg's other movie, A Bridge of Spies, but yeah, there is some government intrigue in this movie, Disclosure Day. There, so also it was pretty convenient that the bird, that the cardinal, just so happened to visit Margaret at that time. Around the time when Daniel is going on the run with all the alien evidence. Okay, we see Margaret and we see her boyfriend sitting at the table there in the morning, and then suddenly this cardinal flies to the window and lands on the table, and basically is the aliens transferring all this power to Margaret there, because you see Margaret just frozen in place there. But I just thought it was pretty convenient that the cardinal happens to show up at that time. Okay, now that is, unless the aliens arranged the cardinal to arrive at that time. It's possible. I mean, this movie makes the aliens seem omnipotent and omniscient, omnipresent, all that, right? Kind of like God. Yep. And we'll get more into the old God angle here in the next segment here, but all that to say is I just thought it was very convenient for the cardinal to arrive there. Now, if you didn't like the movie, you're going to pick stuff like that apart to death. Okay. If you like the movie, or let me rephrase. If you love the movie, you're probably just going to let that stuff go, right? But I didn't love the movie. I liked it. That's why, I'm noticing these plot holes here. I choose, to just appreciate getting an original Steven Spielberg movie that involves aliens, even though this one doesn't even make the medal podium, since all of Spielberg's other aliens beat it. And I'm talking even War of the Worlds, with Tom Cruise back in 2005. That movie beats it there. So but this Disclosure Day, again, it's still Spielberg at the end of the day. So it's still better than just millions of other movies out there, and it feels like Spielberg. It sounds like Spielberg. It looks like Spielberg. When you're watching it there. So I just, I got kind of nostalgic, right? Because it just reminds me of going to see other Spielberg summer movies, better ones. The Jurassic Park and Jaws and Raiders and E.T., Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, all these movies, all these Spielberg movies that came out, in the summertime there. So, but anyway, here, let's move on here a little bit there, and let's vary it up a little bit. Okay, real quick here, and I will make this mercifully quick, but there are some buttons right on down in this area of the screen, and one of them is the like button. So if you would go ahead and hit the like button there, if I could stutter that out properly, if you would hit the like button there, feel free to please hit that. It costs you nothing. It costs you barely any time. Okay, and then also there's a subscribe or follow button down there, and please click that if you haven't already. If you click it again and you already have, you'll unsubscribe or unfollow. And then also there is the notification bell button down there, and feel free to click on that. And it's not going to spam you with emails. Believe me, I know I hate that myself, but it's just going to send you one email a week, just one lowly email, letting you know that there is a brand new, piping hot, fresh, delicious, scintillating new episode of Movies Merica coming hot out of the oven for you right there. Okay. And as I wrap up the most boring segment in all my episodes here, I know, let me talk to the people that are watching this episode here, but didn't get a chance to watch it live. You're watching the recording of it. Okay. And thank you. Thank you for watching. But I want to say that we can still communicate back and forth with each other. We just can't do it via the live chat, of course. But we do have this thing, this phenomenon called the comments section. And it is right down there below me, right where I'm pointing there. I'm pointing out the comments section, not something else. Okay. And yeah, get in there in the comments section. And yeah, just throw any comment you want down there. Okay. And I do read the comments. Okay. I don't avoid the comment section in fear of getting any kind of criticism or anything like that. So, no, it's exciting. It's exciting to go to the comment section and kind of open it up and like see like, ooh, what am I going to see here today? Am I going to see something that thrills me or something that like, oh, why'd they have to say that? Like it just, what reaction is the comment section going to elicit today? So it's very, very captivating and suspenseful and all of that stuff. But anyway, enough about all that there. Let's move on. Okay, real quick here again. The link to this episode right now, go ahead and send it out. Don't hog all the Movies Merica for yourself, all right? If you know anybody that saw Disclosure Day, no matter how close you are to them, okay? If they're your long lost best friend or the guy you saw sleeping on the bench outside the bus station, send it to him if you've got his contact information. Send the link to this show to anybody, again, you even remotely suspect saw this movie. That would be fantastic. Or somebody that is willing to help this guy out by clicking on the link, just muting it, and then walking off and doing whatever you want to do. But that still counts as watch minutes for me. Still counts as minutes people watch the show and helps this guy out right here. So there you go. And don't I look like a sad, sympathetic charity case that needs all kinds of help? I believe I do. There you go. So anyway, but let's move on with some more Disclosure Day here. And before I go into my commentary here, I do want to show you something from this guy that I like to watch on the regular. And his name is Steve Dace. And let me make sure that got that going on. His name is Steve Dace. And he is a guy, he's like a political commentator who brings like a Christian, a Judeo-Christian, kind of worldview to his political commentary there. And he's a big Michigan fan, just like I am too, as well. And also, he does a great job. There's one reason I like him. He throws a lot of pop culture into his political commentary there as well. So, and but he's got some things to say about Disclosure Day, and you'll get this impression right away. You won't have to wait long. He did not like this movie. He did not like Disclosure Day, and I'm playing this so that you can hear him explain why he didn't like it. But it's not all about just hearing about Steve Dace's opinion about Disclosure Day. It's to give you a sample of what many Christians like him are saying about Disclosure Day and what they believe Disclosure Day has to say about Christianity and where aliens play into whether people believe in God or they don't believe in God, whether the existence of aliens being revealed through a Disclosure Day will shake people's faith. Is he talks about, and I'll let him say it right there, but some sort of propaganda and some kind of craving to incite doubts is at the bottom of this movie there. But let's get into this right here, and I'm just going to play this here for you, and let's check out Mr. Dace.
The intersection between what's trending in pop culture and what we are trying to conserve as good, true, and beautiful as conservatives. So I had a chance to see this over the weekend, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is the most blatant attempt to deconstruct Christianity by anything in pop culture since the Da Vinci Code. And I'm going to use spoilers to give you some specific examples. So if you don't want it to be spoiled, I really don't want to give you a countdown because my goal is to get you to not see this film. But I'll be courteous. 3, 2, 1. You've been warned. When I say that this is not even subtle, that this film is going head on right at Christianity, what do I mean? Let me give you some specific examples. And I'll provide these in chronological order, in the order by which they appear in the film. The main character's love interest, who they admit in the film is his fornication partner, she is a former nun. That's a common trope you see in films, right? Dating a former nun.
As one does.
As one does, yeah. She specifically tells the lead male character in the film that she left the convent because, and I quote, "I lost my belief that God is divine." Put a pin in that for later. Okay? When the shadowy agency that's conducting the decades-long cover-up of the alien technology and the conspiracy, when they attempt to subvert the nun's consciousness to turn her into a traitor, they use this alien technology to essentially, for lack of a better description, possess her. She grabs her crucifix and tries to invoke its power to resist the alien technology. She grips it into both of her hands to the point she stigmatas herself. She begins bleeding profusely out of both of her hands. She eventually lets the crucifix go. It's powerless against the superior alien technology or the possession, and she's thus given over to it. The entire story is, she could have grabbed anything. Could have grabbed a gun, knife, weapon, threatened him with it, right? Why'd they have her grab a crucifix? Why'd they have the love interest be a former nun? Follow me here so far?
Well, of course I am,
Yeah,
but I knew this was coming.
The entire story is unfolding underneath the backdrop of nuclear annihilation. It's the U.S. and Russia, of course, because, if you're Steven Spielberg, I guess, in his age, it's still 1985. So we're about to blow each other up any minute now. In other words, we're in the end of days. And our species is lost. We're unable to save ourselves. We need a salvation we cannot acquire on our own. So who will that salvation be? Well, these aliens who specifically choose a male and a female to be and they use this term, vessels, to vanguard the next step of our evolution. They use that specific terminology as well. They're here to guide our next step of evolution. It eventually is revealed that the male is given the mathematic revelation, or I guess you could say logic. The female is given like super empathy. You might call that nurturing. And of course, the female's gift is depicted as the superior one. Maybe sort of like a divine feminine. You guys remember we did that video last year of the guy claiming he had been contracted with the government to do alien crash retrieval? You remember this video?
Yes.
And he talked about being overwhelmed with empathy. Aaron, you remember this? And overwhelmed with this kind of like, feminine energy. You remember this?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this at the time. That's Emily Blunt's character in this film. She's the divine feminine. Empathy and math are the two keys to unlocking the next step of human evolution. The climax of the disclosure broadcast occurs when the largest of the aliens is brought in by several humans in what is basically like a gestatorial chair. If you don't know what that is, ask Todd, he'll tell you. Okay. He emerges from it. They even have him like covered. It's like he's covered, like the Pope is around his Pope mobile. Okay. Or like he was covered, pre-Pope mobile in his gestatorial chair. They literally have him covered. Except that you think, well, is it just because he can't breathe our air? No. He's not wearing any breathing apparatus or anything. So they have him covered. They open it up. He descends from the gestatorial chair and whispers into the ear of the two vessels, the Adam and Eve's, a blessing. Now, the aliens talk in a click kind of a tone. You've seen that in the trailer. I guess if they just had him speak in Latin, it would have been too much on the nose, right? So they want to leave a little open for imagination, I suppose. Okay. The whisper is translated for humanity in what is the last line of the film. This line is said, and then the movie ends, and the credits roll. The divine feminine, Emily Blunt, looks into the camera and says one word: listen. Sort of like, let those with ears to hear, let them hear kind of a thing. All right. Though the film makes it clear that the climactic day of disclosure is being felt globally, the only religion wrestling with it is Christianity. No depictions of anyone in synagogues or mosques or any other pagan religion that is being depicted of wrestling with it. Only Christianity is wrestling with this. We go to the convent that the former nun used to serve in, and several of the nuns are desperately praying and clutching and clinging to their rosaries, uncertain about what this means for the future, while the Mother Superior has this wry smile on her face, greatly anticipating the coming syncretism of the belief systems here. Why is no other religion depicted? All the answers to that question are bad. Why is the only religion that has to wrestle with this in the entire film Christianity? I mean, I'd like this to be the case, but it's not, that Christianity is the only global religion in the world. Why are we the only ones in the movie wrestling with this? Furthermore, the only Christianity the movie depicts is Catholicism. Like, I can't even envision a world outside of where anything other than that exists. So ask yourself that too. Now, back to that smiling Mother Superior that I just told you about, and remember the former nun saying that she, quote, lost her belief that God is divine. Well, the movie says that this at the same time, it makes it very clear. Now, follow me now. The movie makes it very clear humanity needs saving. The former nun even makes the case that even though she doesn't believe in God anymore, cultures still need God for order. She even makes this case. The former nun does. And so that brings in the aliens. So God is not divine, the nun says. By the end of the film, here's who God is. The aliens are sinless. We are not. They have knowledge. They have knowledge kept secret that we do not. They are the only ones who can share such revelation with us. We can't acquire it ourselves. And by embracing this singular truth, mankind is saved because we can't save ourselves. Guys, what does that sound like to you?
New religion?
Sounds like a religion to me. Sounds like a religion to me. If that's not a religion, I don't know what a religion is.
So that is just Steve Dace's opinion on that. So, and he's going to pick up on some things, religious things in this movie that a lot of people aren't going to, because he is a very devout Christian. I mean, he on this show, you're not only going to hear about Trump's latest Iran deal and Charlie Kirk and his legacy, and how big a retard Gavin Newsom is out in California. No, you're going to hear about the Bible and how the Bible teaching plays into our times today, and how the church, how a lot of churches are weak and useless and just afraid of confrontation. So you're going to hear a lot of stuff like that from Steve Dace there on that show. And so he's going to notice biblical and theological things in this movie that we don't. And so, and as you heard, but he broke it down quite a bit, breaking down things that most people wouldn't really pick up, talking about the divine feminine and the significance of the both the male and the female being picked there, Adam and Eve, and then the character Jane, using the crucifix of all things. It couldn't be a pair of scissors or a knife or anything else that's sharp. It had to be a crucifix, right? And the movie portraying the power of her belief in God, using the crucifix is no match for the power of the aliens there. So just kind of a sacrilegious thing there. But and again, I wanted to play Steve Dace going over that, because that is a kind of a widespread opinion among Christians. Not every Christian feels that way, but it's a prevalent one out there. But and this movie didn't have me questioning my faith, because, well, at the end of the day, it's still a movie, okay? Even if there was like a real life disclosure day, it wouldn't have me questioning my faith. I mean, the movie even has a nun saying that the existence of aliens won't destroy her faith, but will actually deepen it. So I didn't entirely buy the claim that Disclosure Day is anti-God propaganda. Now, in all fairness, it also has, that former nun character, Jane, the girlfriend of Daniel, cynically saying that the only reason that people need to have God to believe in is to maintain order. Okay. Like, she thinks God is just some peacekeeping myth that only suckers believe in to keep them from going ballistic here on Earth. I just think that Spielberg, from the time he was a kid and he made his first movie as a kid called Firelight in 1964, all about aliens, I think he just idolizes the idea of aliens a tad too much, to the point where you could mistake him for deifying the aliens, okay? He just thinks that the discovering and meeting aliens would be a wondrous event, and it would be a wondrous event. It would be a big deal. I mean, yeah, if a meeting, if first contact, with aliens was something more than just some fleeting news report I see on Fox News or CNN, like, well, the congressional committee was held today and they were talking about aliens. Like, if it was something more than that, okay, if it was something where I can literally walk out my door and there's a big alien mothership, they're up in the sky or something, and I can see it, then yeah, that's going to be a wondrous event. Now, of course, at the same time, I'm probably going to be pissing myself because I'm going to be like, are these the Independence Day aliens, or are these the cuddly little ET aliens? I have no idea. I'm sure as hell am hoping that these are the aliens that like to go around and pick flowers and eat Reese's Pieces, okay? Not the ones that like to vaporize cities, all right? And back to Spielberg, I don't think he thinks that they're gods and the God worship on Earth is fake. My stance is he's putting all this religion subject matter into the movie, because he knows it'll get the movie talked about virally and keep the movie from just coming and then going in the blink of an eye. Okay. I mean, that's why even in, I think, the latest trailer, I mean, they cut to Spielberg and he's on there, just sitting there, going as far as saying, hey, this movie will have some people, doubting or have them shaken in their faith in God, or something to that effect, right? And he's just trying to drum up just more attention to the movie. I mean, if you're talking about the movie, then it's in the zeitgeist, it's in the public consciousness, and maybe you'll get to the point where, like, all right, I'm sick of hearing people talk about this movie. I'm just going to go see the movie and I'm going to judge for myself. Okay, that's one reaction he's hoping to elicit there. However, in the face of my own opinion, I would ask Spielberg to do one thing. Okay. And before I say that one thing, Steve Dace touched on it there, where, he talks about, well, why is it that Christians are the only ones that are depicted as wrestling and confused, not confused, but wrestling and you know and being torn about the existence of aliens. They're like, why is it not Muslims? Why is it not Buddhists? Hinduists, or is it Hindus? There you go, Hindus, Mormons, okay, Satanists, Moonies. Like, I mean, why is it not Seventh Day Adventist? Why is it just Christians and specifically Catholics that are wrestling with the existence of aliens and what it means to religion and belief in God and all that. So all that being said, again, I would ask Spielberg to do one thing. Now do a movie depicting Muslims questioning Muhammad and Allah. Do that. Let's try that there, Spielberg. We'll see if you got the nuts to do that. See if you really want to be profound, because movies, out of Hollywood that dog on Christianity are a dime a dozen. All right. What's the old phrase? Like, I can't swing a dead cat around without hitting, in this case, a movie out of Hollywood that craps all over Christianity. I mean, that's no big deal anymore. It's been done to death. Okay. But very few, if any, have had, balls of solid rock in order to take on Muslims and Muhammad and Allah. Okay. And Spielberg, he won't do it. He won't do it. Christians, specifically Catholics in this movie, are easy targets because Christians don't slam jets into skyscrapers, okay? They don't blow up cafes with suicide vests. They don't gruesomely run crowds of people over with heavy vehicles, or suddenly just going to weed up their butt and behead innocent people in the middle of the street for the unforgivable crime of not believing in their religion. Nope. That would be Muslims. Okay. And of course, not all Muslims, but Muslims nonetheless that do that. And they have people like Spielberg too scared out of their mind to give them the same scrutiny that they direct towards Christianity. Okay. Because Christianity, Christianity, it's all about to too many Christians. They can't wait to turn the other cheek. I mean, they jump out of bed in the morning waiting for an opportunity to turn the cheek. Like, oh boy, I can't wait. The sun is shining. The birds are singing. I can't wait. I sure hope I have a chance. I hope I have an opportunity to turn the other cheek while somebody just craps all over my religion. Okay. That's what they know about Christianity. They know that Christians, too many Christians out there are more worried about being nicer than God than evangelizing and standing up for the religion. Having to, that's one thing you can say about Muslims. Like, they are devout. They do back up their belief in their religion with action, where you can't say that about a lot of Christians. Not at all. But so I want to transition here. No, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean it that way. I want to transition to reading this article here that I found interesting here about, the faith side of Disclosure Day here. I just thought it was fascinating, and I want to share this with you. I want to do a little show and tell here. So let's check this out right here. And as you see, the article is called Faith, Fear, and the Wisdom of Nuns in Spielberg's Disclosure Day. And it does touch on what Steve Dace went over in his commentary about where nuns and where nuns fit within the movie Disclosure Day here. So before I start reading this here, get a little parched here, so I'm gonna take a little tug off my beer ski right here, which I will be talking about later on here in brew review time. And again, whatever you guys are drinking, man, hey, drink up, man. I'll tell you, this show is all about relaxing and kicking back and taking it easy. But let's get into this article again, titled "Faith, Fear, and the wisdom of nuns in Spielberg's Disclosure Day. There's never a convenient time for an alien invasion, but in Steven Spielberg's new Disclosure Day, the timing couldn't be worse. In the director's latest science fiction epic, global tensions are high and nuclear war hovers on the horizon. Everyday people are stockpiling resources in preparation for the inevitable devastation to come. Amidst all of this, cybersecurity expert Daniel, played by Josh O'Connor, flees his workplace with information he's been paid to protect. In hand is irrefutable proof of the existence of aliens and proof that the United States government, through companies like Wardex, has interacted with and even experimented on extraterrestrials on Earth. And to that last point there is a scene in Disclosure Day here, and you know this if you've seen it, where Daniel plays for his girlfriend Jane this classified footage of an alien strapped into a chair, just some kind of whatever, some table there in like a research lab, and pretty much being tortured, being just having needles drove into him, and the alien is screaming in pain while the humans just hold him down, hold the alien down. It's hard to watch. Okay, but continuing on. Spielberg handles the disclosure as one of the final truths capable of stirring people out of their individualized lives. It is news so poignant, so disruptive to the established order that Daniel and his girlfriend Jane, a former nun, are willing to risk their reputations and lives to leak the information to the world. Meanwhile, the CEO of Wardex is equally determined to stop them at all costs and kill them if necessary. While hiding from Wardex, Jane confronts Daniel about the implications of leaking the information. She insists that human beings need to believe in God as a supreme being and fears that a revelation of extraterrestrials, actual supreme beings, as Jane quotes them in this movie, which set me off when she said that. Set me off. It's a little aggressive. It kind of perked me up. It perked my ears up like, oh, this is where Spielberg's going with this movie. Okay. So fears that a revelation of extraterrestrials, actual supreme beings, would shatter people's faith. But Daniel is determined and presses forward, connecting with a larger whistleblower network spearheaded by another former Wardex employee, Hugo, played by Colman Domingo. Okay. So at that point when Jane says that, and that whole conversation, that gets Daniel wondering about her intentions, so much so that, he grabs the backpack full of all the alien secrets and takes it with him because he's like, well, now that you said that, Jane, I don't know what you're going to do with that backpack. I don't know if you're just going to you're going to grab it and take off with it. Who knows? So, but moving on. Spielberg and screenwriter David Koepp deserve kudos for saying the quiet part out loud, so to speak. For it's true that acknowledging the existence of aliens would likely disrupt the religious sphere. Wisely, the film doesn't lambaste Jane for her fears, but instead uses religion itself to address them. When Jane and Daniel take sanctuary in a convent, Jane asks Sister Mara, Elizabeth Marvel, if you found out we weren't alone, would that frighten you? Sister Mara offers her own question in response. Why would he make such a vast universe yet save it only for us? In the question of this in the character of this middle-aged nun, we are presented with a faith that is living and active, a faith that can be deepened, not dismantled by new revelations. So, key phrase there, a faith that can be deepened, not dismantled by new revelations. Hers is a blueprint for people of faith, hoping to offer solace to a world that craves certainty but gets instability instead. Janusz Kaminski's cinematography too supports the obliteration of the line between the sacred and secular, believer and unbeliever. There's no paucity of awe-inspiring shots of the film, but one of Spielberg's and Kaminski's favorites is the use of superimposition, the placing of faces upon each other. Even if two characters may be far away, through windows, the two share the same space. through car windows and copious lens flares. Human faces are superimposed onto each other, and physical distances are cut down to size. We are more connected than we think. The Christian tradition demands we find contentment with mystery. If faith is indeed the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen, Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1, then we have a real gift to offer others in times when hope is in short supply. The friendship of Jane and Sister Mara offers a portrait of a faith community that does not demonize doubt, but embraces it as a part of what it means to be in this world, grappling with a humanity we all share. With Disclosure Day, Spielberg has composed a benediction for all who hold faith that we might find and share a contentment with the unknown. And I read that because that follows closer to what I think about how religion and faith in God and people's walk with God is portrayed in Disclosure Day. Okay. I don't think that it's outright propaganda because Spielberg and David Koepp, the screenwriter, they do make sure to put in there that that the existence of aliens doesn't need to dismantle your faith. It can deepen it. There's no reason that you can't believe that aliens are also God's creatures. Okay, the nun played by Elizabeth Marvel, she even says something along the lines of, you know, God created us here on Earth, okay, and specifically putting the emphasis on Earth there, okay, doesn't mean that he hasn't created other beings on other planets at all. I mean, and she points out that space is so vast that it's almost inconceivable that there would be other creatures, right? It's like David Morse's character in the movie Contact, when he plays Jodie Foster's character's dad, and he's got this phrase that he repeatedly says, like, if something along the lines of, if we're the only ones in this big universe, seems like an awful waste of space, something to that effect, in the movie Contact. And so, yeah, I believe that, but again, I think that some people are going to take how aliens are portrayed in Disclosure Day as yet another opportunity ripe with the possibility of dismantling Christianity and belief in God. Of course, all along, like I said before, and what Steve Day said all along, not mentioning Islam or Buddhism or any of those religions having any kind of problem with that. But as we all know, that there are extremist Muslims where, if you were like, hey, I'm a big alien worshiper, look at my shirt, I've got a picture of an alien right here, I'm a big alien worshiper, they wouldn't hesitate for a microsecond to cut your head off because they would still think you're an infidel. I mean, if you don't believe in Islam, you don't believe in, the holiness of Muhammad, and you're over here going, hey, yeah, I pray to aliens. Yeah, well, you better run your ass up because you're about to get your head cut off, okay? And again, that's not all alien. I know I got to qualify this. It's not all Muslims, that are like that. Although these peaceful Muslims sure are very quiet, about those extremist Muslims, blowing people up and cutting people's heads off and slitting throats and all that stuff. And then the peaceful Muslims are, hey, it's not all Muslims that do that. Like, well, it's hard for us not to think that you're in cahoots with the extremist Muslims because you sure are very, very quiet. You don't raise any kind of objection. You don't police your own community whatsoever. Your silence about extremist Muslim violence is deafening. That's for sure right there. So, but anyway, let's move on here with the show. Okay, I've got this beer. It is staring me down over here because it's kind of doing this where it's like tapping on a watch right there. You're like, hey, buddy, hey, it's time for brew review time right there. And so it's time to make this beer happy, and let's get our brew review time on, shall we? Okay, let's meet our beer for tonight, the Brewski for brew review time. And I want to make sure you guys can see that. There we go. Let me get that right there. There you go. Nice, 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 nice. It's kind of an attractive looking label there, don't you think? And so this is a Prankster. Okay, this is a Belgian style golden ale brewed by North Coast Brewing Company in Fort Bragg. No, not Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Another Fort Bragg, California. Okay. And this is comes to us at a alcohol by volume percentage of 7.6, and it's got high carbonation, and it does have complex flavors that mimic traditional Belgian brewing traditions right there. So that's why they call it a Belgian style golden ale. Now let's get some more details about the beer itself, including like how it's brewed, the finish, and bitterness, and all of that stuff right there. So as far as how it's brewed, let's talk about the yeast. And it's brewed with a unique blend of antique Belgian yeast strains. And this special culture is a secret behind the beer's distinct taste. Now, let's talk about the aroma or the nose here. Let me get a little bit of the nose here. Yeah. And so it's got a floral nose, and I could tell it's got little notes like banana. Some people said that they could smell pear in there. I could not. Green apple and spicy cloves. Out of those four, I definitely smelled the banana and the spicy cloves. Okay, which is a very pleasant smell. Let's talk about the taste, right? That's the main thing, right? How does it taste? Because you're not going to smell your beer all day long. You're going to be drinking it, right? And as far as the taste, expect a full fruity flavor with notes of lemon curd, overripe banana, and candied sugar. Okay. Now, right now, you might be gagging, going, "My God, I don't want to get diabetes from this beer." Okay, my God, what is this, packed full of sugar or something like that? Like that? No. Okay, all those items, those like the lemon curd, overripe banana, all of those things, they're the taste from those very subtle. Okay, not overpowering whatsoever. Okay, so those tastes aren't going to like slap you in the face. Okay, it's not that powerful or anything like that. So as far as the finish, it finishes remarkably clean and actually has a bubbly. You're supposed to have a bubbly champagne like spritz. I did not get that from this beer or this particular bottle right here. I don't know. Maybe this is like an older bottle of this right here, but I did not get a champagne like spritz from this whatsoever. Some of you might be going, "Thank God." Okay, I wanted to be drinking a beer, not Corbel or something like that, right? So, the alcohol is exceptionally well hidden, and that makes it very smooth to drink. Okay, with those people who just don't like the taste of alcohol, you're not going to be drinking this and going, "Oh God, okay, ugh, okay." None of that. Okay, you're not going to get bitter beer face there. As far as the bitterness, it's very low. It's very low, coming in at 20 IBU. IBU stands for International Bitterness Units. Okay, so it's got very low bitterness there. Okay, so I also like to let you guys know what foods that the beers that I talk about actually pair well with. Okay. And the first beer or first food that it pairs well with are soft ripened cheeses like brie and camembert and fontina. Okay, if you're a big cheese fan, all right. If you live in Wisconsin, okay, something like that, you're probably gonna know the name of those cheeses. I know brie. I didn't know the other two. Uh, Roasted herb chicken or fresh mussels steamed in white wine. Those would go very good with this beer. As far as spicy food, my personal favorite. Thai green curry goes very well with this particular brew there. Now, if you're off the beaten path and you like to have a dessert with the beer, then the kind of desserts that go good with this are fresh fruit tarts, especially apricot or cherry flavors. And you know what? Have a beer with your dessert sometime. I mean, it's not as weird and strange and bizarre as you might think right there. It could become one of life's little pleasures for you unexpectedly. So check that out or give it a try. There you go. Expand your horizons. Don't be so basic, okay? But I am going to take a drink off this because, because I want to. Mm, that's pretty good. So I am recommending this North Coast prankster here. Not getting any money from North Coast Brewing Company. Okay, it's this review's legit. It's on the up and up. Okay, and as you know, to as far as like you getting your hands on it, okay, because I don't want to hog all this for myself. If you don't live anywhere near Fort Bragg, California, then you can go to someplace like gopuff.com. Puff as in like Puff Daddy. Uh, Puff Daddy likes baby oil. Gopuff.com. You can go there and they specialize at getting beer that's nowhere near you, actually in your hand right there. Okay. It might cost you a little bit, but they'll get it to you. If you happen to be in California and you've got this beer available around you here, then yeah, you could fire up the Uber Eats app on your phone or another app called Open Bar as well. So all that to say is I'm trying not to be stingy and hog all this good beer for myself. I want you to have it there as well because I am indeed recommending this prankster brew right here. It's one of the better Belgian style ales I've ever had. So yeah, I want you to have it too. Okay. All right. Let's wrap up this brew review time. All right, let me show you this here real quick. I want to let you know that this is out there, okay? The truth is out there, and so is this website here, okay? And this website is going to be one that I think you're going to want to go to here quite a bit. There you go. It is the Movies Merica store, the Movies Merica merch store, to be more precise. And so, yes, we've got start off with this Big Mugs camo trucker ad here, and just let you know there is no purple on it there, unfortunately, but it still looks pretty good nonetheless. It would look better with the purple, though. I know, I agree. And let's get down to more of the items here. So we've got a number of items here with the Big Mugs style of Movies Merica logo here. So we got our shirts there, and as you see here, you can get them in all kinds of different colors and all that stuff. You just click on down there. You can get yourself, whatever color that is, that there, plain old white, or you're feeling secure in your masculinity, or you're a lady, you can get yourself a pink shirt right there. So all that to say is you can change the colors on these things here. So, and you can do that with most of these items here, except for the windbreaker, obviously. Well, that's a heck of a discount right there. $47.99 down from $60. Okay, wow. All right. And we've got a Big Mug sports bra there as well. So if that's going to look good on you, by all means. And we got hats with the Big Mugs logo there as well. And you can get these in different colors there as well. So there you go. And then we're moving on down to the Hollyweird style of Movies Merica logo. And there's the one with the camera and the two big mugs of beer on both sides. And we've got different T-shirts and tank tops and all of that here with the Hollyweird style logo. And then we're getting down to my personal favorite style of Movies Merica logo, the Black Adam style. I like that because it's so metal, literally. I mean, it's got let's click in here, give you a better look there. Yeah, look at this, all metal, man. All right, and got the flames, not the flames, but the molten steel there, on the edge there with the metal. It's pretty badass. I definitely dig that logo right there. And then, you might be like, hey, you know what? I got all your Movies Merica gear hanging up on my closet already. Okay. But man, you know what? I sure do get thirsty there, Movies Merica. And would you happen to, good buddy, old pal, would you happen to have some Movies Merica drinkware? And to that I say, friend, get ready to be happy. Because here we have Feast Your Eyes. We have the Movies Merica coffee cup and the can-shaped glass. We got a pint glass going on here. We got koozies as well. And then a couple of items that have nothing to do with drinkware, but are sweet, sweet items to get your hands on nonetheless. And these are some desk mats here to class up your desk there, to add some sophistication to your workstation right there. But you got all this Movies Merica merch, all these items there. to grab, and they do make great conversation starters. Okay, I know I have gone out and I've worn, my Movies America hat, my Movies America T-shirt, and people just start asking, "Hey, I mean, what's Movies America?" Okay, because they like the alliteration, Movies America, right? And so, yeah, just be warned. Okay, you may actually have to be social with your fellow Homo sapiens if you do wear any kind of Movies America merch right there. And just to make it very easy for you to get to this website, we do have the link to the Movies America merch store down in the description down there. Okay, so and check that out right there. Okay, all right, time to move on with the show. Okay, so more Disclosure Day to talk about, that is for sure. And this is one of those movies with an ending that I think people will either just be fine with or absolutely hate. I can't imagine anyone loving this ending. Okay, they may like it, but I don't think anybody's gonna. I don't think anybody's gonna love the ending. Pardon me. Excuse my beer burp there. That's not cool. Disclosure Day teasing that we're going to hear the entirety of what the alien tells Daniel, who then tells Margaret, and then having Margaret just say one word to the TV camera and the world, "Listen," and then cutting to black. That is a risky ending. Okay. That is a ending that could very well alienate even people that like the rest of the movie. But then you have an ending like that, and that'll be the last taste they have in their mouth. Okay. And a bad taste that could be to them in their mouth for this movie. They might have gotten up to within 2 minutes of this movie ending, ready to run out of the theater and proclaim how great it is to the world, and then they see that ending and like, what? Okay, so you never know. It's a risky ending. It reminds me though of how Christopher Nolan ended Inception, with that top just spinning on the table, in the scene where Leo DiCaprio he gets to finally come home and reunite with his kids, after winning safe passage, at least passage where he's not incarcerated after accomplishing Inception there, for Ken Watanabe's character there. So, but yeah, in that scene, they have the top just spinning on a table and then just cutting the black, and they don't reveal to us whether if it stops spinning or not. Okay. And it just kept us in the dark as to whether Cobb, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, was actually reunited with his kids, or was it just a dream? Okay. Well, I would say we were in the dark about that. I mean, up until up until Michael Caine revealed the ending was not a dream by letting everyone know that Nolan told him, "Hey, Michael, whatever scenes you're in, it's not a dream. It's reality." So, of course, Michael Caine was in that ending scene, okay? Oops. So, given that Michael Caine is one of my favorite legendary actors, I mean, we're talking, he played, Alfred in the Batman movies, and he's, classic movies. What was it? Shock to the System's a great movie with him in it. Dressed to Kill. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Can't forget about Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. What's that? That World War II movie that I saw him in not too long ago. It was not Where Eagles Dare. Maybe it was or something. It's the one where he plays like this. God, what is he? What is it like? I think it's like a German general or something like that, or is a British general or whatever. Like, and they're going over there. They're trying to plot to kill Hitler because Hitler is supposed to go over to Britain or something like that. Something along those lines. But it's a good movie. It's got Donald Sutherland in it and Robert Duvall in it as well. So, but yeah, Michael Caine's been in a lot of great movies there as well. What's that one? He's it's also in one with Sean Connery. They're like The Man Who Would Be King or something like that. But yeah, he's been around forever, Michael Caine. So I'm more than happy to forgive him for that faux pas. Okay, so all that to say, some people hated the ambiguous Inception ending too. They just don't want to have their, they don't want to have to use their imagination. They want everything shown to them. It's like those, old J.G. Wentworth movie, commercials. It's my money and I want it back now. Like it's my time and I want it back now. Call J.G. Wentworth 8776 now. So, or was it 877 cash now? That's what it was. 877 cash now. There we go. But anyway, so enough about J.G. Wentworth. There, I bet you didn't expect to hear a J.G. Wentworth mention here on the show tonight. Nope, not at all. Okay, let me check something over here. Let me do those over here. Get my due diligence going on over here. All right. Well, I think we're getting to the point where it's getting to my favorite segment of the Thursday night Movies Merica show here. And it's not just my favorite segment. A lot of people also like this segment. And, to stop keeping you in suspense, what I'm talking about is the movie military moment. And the movie military moment, that is just where I give myself a few minutes to pay tribute, to pay honor to a military hero that was awarded or was given the earned. Let's do this. Earned a Congressional Medal of Honor. Okay, and some of you might be saying, "Hey, Van, that's great. You're paying tribute to these heroes that deserve as many tributes to them as they possibly can get." But last time I checked, I thought I'd tune in for a movie show. What do movies have to do with paying tribute to a Congressional Medal of Honor? And to that, I say, that's a good question. And I owe you an explanation, but not until after this. All right, so I do owe you an explanation. Now, the first thing I will say, this is not really a rationalization for this, but I am ex-mil. I'm ex-military, okay? And so, there's just something in me that makes me want to pay tribute to these heroes right there, because I just see too many people that aren't even close to deserving to have the word hero used in direction towards them be called heroes. Okay, the word hero gets used and abused nowadays. Like, mothers are heroes. Like, no, they're not. Okay, no, they're not. Okay, unless they run into a burning building and save their kid or someone that, then they're a hero. Okay, but no, not at all. But also, further rationalization or an actual rationalization for me paying tribute to military heroes during a movie show is this. So, as you would imagine, if you were awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor, you didn't get it for being the best booger picker on your military base, right? You didn't get it for being the best boot polisher. You got it for doing something amazing and selfless and just spectacular, okay? Something that is just transcends so many things, right? And that could be something that could show itself in the guise of you fought in World War One, right? And you're over in Germany, and you've got the Germans, and they're shelling you. You're in your trench. You're in trench warfare, and you've got armaments coming in. You've got tanks coming in, all right? But they're not able to get in because you've got these mortars in place and they're shelling the ground that these tanks need to hit. And so you, because you love your country and you want to win this damn battle, right? You want to win this damn war. You jump out of the trench and you go there and you're firing at the Germans and you're risking life and limb. You're risking certain death. It's a suicide mission. You're out there with no cover, running over to their trenches. And you're over there and you're taking out the operators of their mortars. Okay, they're mortar operators. You're taking them out. You're killing them. And all the rest of your troops that are there staying back in the trench, nice and safe, they're watching you. They're like, oh my God, are you seeing this? That's amazing. My God. Wow. Oh my God. He took out the mortar operators. Oh my God. He saved it. Wow. Now they're not shelling the ground. The tanks can come in. Okay. And then you see him and then unfortunately he takes a fatal round in the chest. Okay. And he gives his life. He makes the ultimate sacrifice. Okay. That is a transcendent moment. Okay. A selfless moment right there. That if you saw that whole thing go down, not live, but at least you got to see it on a big movie screen in front of you. I mean, maybe even like a big IMAX screen or something like that. That would be an incredible movie military moment. Okay. And that's the connection right there. Okay. That's the connection. And do what you will with that rationalization. You might be like, that's a bunch of that's a load of crap there, man. That's pretty weak. So right there. And you know what? You might be right. You might be right. But what's not right is making our honoree wait even 1 second longer for us to pay tribute to him. And tonight's tributee or honoree is one Staff Sergeant Earl D. Plumley. He fought in the war on terrorism, specifically in Afghanistan. Okay. And this is one heck of a citation. Like I've said before, if you've seen my movie Military Moments, the newer the war, the longer the citation. Okay. The older the war, the inverse is true. The older the war, the shorter the citation. Okay. You check out some Medal of Honor recipients from like the Spanish-American War. They ain't no citation. Okay. Not at all. But because this one's so long, the citation, I better wet my whistle before we get into it. Excellent. All right. I think I'm ready to rock, ready to do my duty for this honoree here, Staff Sergeant Earl D. Plumley. But I think that the good Staff Sergeant, our hero, deserves some sweet, sweet movie military moment music. Don't you? I agree. Let's do it. This is the movie Military Moment. And in this movie Military Moment, we pay tribute to one Staff Sergeant Earl D. Plumley, who fought in Afghanistan in the war on terrorism. And let's find out more about Staff Sergeant Plumley, shall we? Staff Sergeant Earl D. Plumley distinguished himself by acts of gallantry above and beyond the call of duty on August 28, 2013, while serving as a weapons sergeant, D Company, 4th Battalion, 1st Special Forces Airborne, in support of enduring freedom. Sergeant Plumley instantly responded to an enemy attack on forward operating base Ghazni province, Afghanistan, that began with an explosion that forced its people free in the face of the perimeter wall. And insurgents wearing Afghan National Army uniforms and suicide vests poured through the breach. Sergeant Plumley and 5 others mounted 2 vehicles and raced toward the explosion. When his vehicle was engaged by enemy fire, Sergeant Plumley reacted instinctively, using his body to shield the driver prior to exiting the vehicle and engaging an enemy insurgent 15 meters from the vehicle's right with his pistol. Without cover, in a complete disregard for his own safety, he advanced for the enemy, engaging multiple insurgents with only his pistol. Upon reaching cover, he killed 2 insurgents, one with a grenade, and the other by detonating the insurgent's suicide vest using suspicious sniper fire. Again, disregarding his own safety, Sergeant Plumley advanced alone against enemy, engaging several insurgents at close range, including one whose suicide vest exploded a mere 7 meters from his position. Under intense enemy fire, Sergeant Plumley temporarily withdrew the cover. He joined up with another soldier, and together they mounted another counterattack. Under fierce enemy fire, Sergeant Plumley again moved from cover and attacked the enemy forces, advancing within 7 meters of a previously wounded insurgent who detonated his suicide vest, blowing Sergeant Plumley back against a nearby wall. Sergeant Plumley, ignoring his injuries, quickly regained his faculties and re-engaged enemy forces. Intense enemy fire once again forced the soldiers to temporarily withdraw. Undeterred, Sergeant Plumley joined a small group of American and Polish soldiers who moved from cover to once again counterattack the infiltrators. As the force advanced, Sergeant Plumley engaged an insurgent to his front left. He then swung around and engaged another insurgent charging group from the rear. The insurgent detonated his suicide vest, mortally wounding a U.S. soldier. Sergeant Plumley, again, completely disregarded for his own safety, ran to the wounded soldier, carried him to safety, and rendered first aid. He then methodically cleared the area, remained in a security posture, and continued to scan any remaining threats. As Sergeant Earl D. Plumley's extraordinary heroism and devotion to duty are in keeping with the Spanish traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon himself, the Special Forces Regiment, and the United States Army. And we salute you as Sergeant Plumley for your heroism on that day. And that has been the movie Military Moment. All right. Hopefully that they hit you right in the feels right there, or hopefully it got you all motivated and enthusiastic, okay, and appreciative of our heroes there. But yeah, great to read those citations. I dig it there, and it sounds like this guy definitely earned that Congressional Medal of Honor that he got. There is no doubt with that. So, but with that, let's wrap up this movie Military Moment. All right, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls here. So we're getting ready to wrap up, or I'm getting ready to wrap up this episode, this Disclosure Day episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. Hopefully you heard all you wanted all about Disclosure Day here. And hopefully, if you didn't get in the live chat and engage and ask questions or make statements or whatever, hopefully at least you got an idea of the format of this show, okay? Because I do this show because I like to talk about movies a lot. And I know you're probably saying, well, guy, Van, there's a lot of shows on YouTube with guys who like to talk movies, okay? But I'm one of the few ones that have a live show dedicated specifically to facilitating the very in-depth, very granular talking about movies, okay? I mean, if you're not in my live chat right now and you love movies, you're missing a great opportunity to get in the live chat and talk as in depth about movies as you want. It doesn't even have to be the movie that the episode is about, okay? And I know there's still some movie fans out there. I know video games are where it's at now. I get that. I get that. We're at that moment where, video games are the cars and movies are the horses. Okay, I get it. All right, so I get it. But there's still movie lovers out there. I damn well know it. Okay. And yeah, so you can get in the live chat and talk movies and just unleash. Okay, purge. Your movie commentary and all that in my live chat. So that's basically the main purpose of my show is to just have a back and forth, a dialogue about movies here and do it live. Okay, do it live. We're doing it live. Okay, we're doing it live. Okay, to quote William O'Reilly there. So, yeah. So the show's still on. It's not too late to get into the live chat and say whatever you want about movies in there. Okay, but just to let you know, the movie that I will be talking about next week is a movie that is the fifth in the franchise there, okay? And it started off with a little movie back in 1995 starring, or I should say starring the voices of a couple of icons, a couple of notaries, notary people, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, famous people in Hollywood. Okay, a couple of famous guys: Tom Hanks, Tim Allen. Okay, and if you haven't guessed it already, I'll be reviewing a Toy Story movie. Okay, and that will be the latest Toy Story movie. That will be Toy Story 5. Okay, even though you might be like me, and you're like, you should have just ended with Toy Story 3. It was a perfect ending. They went on to make Toy Story 4 and Toy Story 5. Okay, I mean, the quest for more money. Okay, so I mean, let's face it. No one ever called Hollywood too original. Okay, not at all. But that will be the movie for next week, Toy Story 5, meaning that I will be spoiler-free reviewing that on Sunday afternoon for y'all, okay? And that is part of the Movies Merica live show that I do on Sunday afternoons. And that comes on at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, and 1 p.m. Pacific on Sunday afternoon. Again, Toy Story 5 will be what I'm spoiler-free reviewing. And I let you know, hey, I'll let you know things like, is Toy Story 5, is it woke? Okay. I let you know if it sucks, if it's good. Okay. And then of course I do another brew review. Okay. So you learn about Toy Story 5 and you learn about a new beer there as well. So, all right. But, and again, of course, that means next week, a week from tonight, I'll be talking about Toy Story 5 again, but with potential spoilers there. So check out next week's episode, Toy Story 5. But first, Sunday afternoon's episode with my spoiler-free review of Toy Story 5 there. So, all right, let me double check here, make sure we got everything in order. And all right, hey, we got thank you for the thank you for the suggestion, the speech suggestion, or the terminology suggestion there, Noah 7763 there. So yes, apparently you saw I was flailing there, and graciously and mercifully threw me a lifeline right there. So thank you very much, and thanks for being in a live chat and watching the show on YouTube. Notable people, there you go. That sums it up right there. Thank you very much. All right. So, and at this point, I would just ask you if you would follow me, Movies Merica, on the platforms that I'm on. I'm on Rumble. You'll see, if you search Movies Merica on Rumble, you'll see 3 Movies Merica accounts. If you would follow me on all 3 of those, it would be fantabulous. I'm on X under at Movies Merica. If you would follow me or friend me, or I forget what they do on X. Follow? I guess it's follow there. And then I'm on Facebook as well. I've got a Movies Merica page, Movies Merica group, Movies Merica, or a Van Eber profile page on there. I'm also on the Gram or Instagram there under Movies Merica. And I'm on Gab if you're a Gab guy or Gab guy or Gab gal. There we go. I should probably wrap this up. I'm losing my gift of speech. But all that to say is, yeah, please follow me on all those platforms. If you want to let me know, via DMing me on my X account that you followed me on a platform, hey, let me know and I'll follow you back on that platform. Probably just need to let me know what your profile name is or whatever, and I'll follow you back right there. Okay. Oh, and also, hey, feel free to send the link to this episode to anybody that you even suspect has seen Disclosure Day or is in the movies there. If you look me up on Movies Merica, or look me up on Rumble under Movies Merica, or look up Movies Merica on YouTube, then you're going to get to a page where it has all my past episodes on it. Feel free to copy the URL, copy the web address for that, and send that off to people that like movies there. Actually, doesn't even. I mean, yeah, they have to like movies in this case here too. But where it really comes in handy is, we all, if you have Netflix, or if you have Amazon Prime or Hulu or Paramount Plus or whatever, right? And you're on there and they're showing you all the movies that that are available to watch. You're going through your algorithm, so to speak, and you see a movie where the thumbnail looks pretty good, but you're just not sure if the movie is good. You just got burned last night on some movie that was 2.5 hours long, and you're never getting that 2.5 hours back, okay? And you don't want to relive that mistake again. So what you can do is simply go to Rumble or YouTube, type in the name of the movie and then Movies Merica, and pretty good chance you're going to find a Movies Merica spoiler-free review of that movie there, okay? Now, you're going to get there and you'll be like, wow, this episode's an hour long. I don't want to watch an hour-long episode just to see if this movie is good. I don't blame you. I'm totally there with you, okay? So all you have to do is fast forward in the episode to about the 50-minute mark, and that's what I usually do my final thoughts on the movie, letting you know it's good or it's a turd, okay? And so it comes in handy. So save yourself the headache, the migraine of watching a turd of a movie by going and checking out my review of that movie. Getting the regular guy a perspective on the movie right there. If you don't bother to go check, find my review and you waste 2.5 hours of your time, I got no tears for you, pal. I don't have no tears for you whatsoever. So there you go. That is on you. Okay, there you go. All right, so getting ready to wrap up this episode here, but I want to thank everybody, including Mr. Scott Awesome, for joining me in the live chat, participating, and also we got my man Noah 77763 on YouTube. You fellers, thank you for checking out the show. That it is much appreciated. So, and as I always say, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya. Howdy, my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. Would you do me a favor and check me out at solo.to/Movies Merica? That's where you would go for a one-stop shop for all the links that have to do with me, Movies Merica. And then also, if you want to check out the audio-only podcast versions of my Movies Merica live episodes, that's my spoiler-free reviews that I do on Sunday, you can go to moviesmerica.com or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, places like that. And then, actually, if you would also check me out on the social media sites like X and Instagram and Facebook and Gab. And I'm on those locations all under @Movies Merica. So it is very easy to find me out there, all right? So get to it, everybody. All right, thanks for watching. Later.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got a popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'm gonna be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right, thanks for watching.